Hi there, BookTube. This is a weekly wrap up, as you can tell from the title, but I only finished 2 books this week. I loved both of them so much that I just wanted to share them, so I decided to do that, and let's just do that now. The first one is The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is the first book I picked up for Victober. If you don't know what Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is all about, it is about this Dr. Jekyll and this very strange and mysterious and just very evil Mr. Hyde, who nobody really knows who he is. We are told the story from the point of view of a lawyer who went to school with Dr. Jekyll and knows him since then and is a friend of his. He just starts to notice that things around Dr. Jekyll are very strange, and everything that is strange somehow has to do with Mr. Hyde. It's a very short little novella. It's only 74 pages long in this edition, but it's packs a real punch. It's so unique, it's so interestingly written. I personally think that this is one of the best classics to start out with because it's so short, it's so unique, it's really sucks you in. You want to know what is going on. You don't really know what is going on while you're reading it or while you start to read it until it is told. I mean, you know what is happening, but at the same time you want to know more about what is happening and how it all came to be. And it's so interestingly told, and it's just such a short little thing that no matter if you love the story or if you hate the story, you will be able to finish this book. And I think there is something about finishing a classic and being able to say that you have read it, you have your own opinion about it now. That means something if you never read a classic before. And I think this one is just so nice to read because it's so different from what you expect. It's a story all about those two characters, and it is not. It is a very well-rounded story about very many different characters that have to do with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but it's not only a story about those two. I really enjoy it. I highly recommend it. It was a beautiful book to start Victober out with, and I love it. You should read it if you haven't yet. And the next book and the last book I finished during the week was this beauty, and that is, of course, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban in the illustrated edition. This came way earlier than I expected. I love it. It's so beautiful. The cover is stunning. Can you see how much detail there is? I think the third book is just very special, different in Harry Potter because it is this very specific book that clearly takes this entire story of Harry Potter up a notch. It is the first book that gets darker, that gets more adult, that gets more in the details about the faults in the wizarding world, how people get mistreated, how people get overlooked, more so than the first 2 books. In this edition, it really shows that this is a darker book than the first 2 are. Not only because it clearly is darker from the cover alone, at the pictures. So at the beginning of the book, it's still a typical Harry Potter book where we have pretty bright colors and lots of fun books. I love that Jim Kay continues to portray the characters in the book as Rowling describes them and not as people know them from the movie actors. Because as you can see from Snape here, that is how he is described by. I just wanted to give you a look without the glare. This is how Rowling describes him. That is how I personally always pictured him. I just love the pictures. I think that Jim Kay was the perfect choice for an illustrator for Harry Potter because he is just as detail-oriented as Rowling herself is. She is very detailed in her writing. She knows what she wants to describe. She can describe it perfectly. And he is such a detailed drawer. He knows exactly how to take care of details and how to make those little things be perfect. And I think that is so important for a story where an author is so focused on the little things, to have an illustrator that is also focused on the little things. Each book, I just feel like he's getting better and better and better, and I just love it. And I love this side. It's beautiful. I think it's very different from how werewolves are normally looking, so that's beautiful. I love the Marauders map. People, these pictures are so beautifully done. And then it gets to get really, really dark, which is when the story starts to get dark. So I just love how he started to make the pictures darker as well. Especially my favorite picture, which is this one here. But it's very fitting to the book. It's very fitting to the story in this book. I love the details. It just adds so much to the actual story, and I just love rereading the stories in this illustrated edition. Highly recommend that. The only thing I hate about the book is this guy here. I mean, really, we all know Harry Potter turned 20 this year, and that's wonderful. Do we really have to add a stupid sticker that we cannot get off the book without it looking like you ripped off a sticker of the book? Do we really have to do that? We don't. I don't mind that they added the sticker to this version of the books because it is the 20th edition. So yes, please put the sticker on. But do we really have to do it on this beautiful edition? And I cannot get the stupid thing off, so it just, that really drives me crazy. But everything else about the book, everything important about the book is beautiful. I highly, highly recommend this book. It's really just so beautifully done. I would love to know if you have read this yet, if you have gotten it yet, if you buy it, or if you plan to buy it, or if you wish to buy it, whatever you plan to do. I just would love to know if you plan to own the Harry Potter Illustrated Edition. Let's just talk in the comments about the books that you guys read during the week or during the coming week. Let's talk about the books you're currently reading. Let's chat there and let's do that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and my raving and ranting about the two books. Really loved, and I hope to see you in my next video, and until then, in the comments. Bye.